As promised, here is our director of scouting, Craig Button, to talk about this loss by the Oilers. McDavid said this would be the Oilers' best game of the entire playoffs. And for the first 20 minutes, it looked like he might actually be right, and then the wheels fell off. What happened to the Oilers in this one?
Well, the first 24 seconds didn't look very good either because the Vegas Golden Knights went up 1-0 right off.
Yep.
But they responded, and they responded in a real positive way. But, you know, it's all of a sudden 2-2, right? And it's 3-2. And now you're killing a penalty, and then you draw a penalty, and now it's 4-on-4. Now you get McDavid, and you get Draisaitl out there 4-on-4, and then Mattias Ekholm takes a terrible penalty. So now not only do you lose the 4-on-4, well, this is the beginning of the game here with Riley Smith off the puck, off the boards, that makes it 1-0. But then the bouncing puck into the net, Skinner wasn't all that strong, and then there's the penalty by Mattias Ekholm. I mean, it's just not a very good play, and that was the one where it's 4-on-4. You have a chance with McDavid and Draisaitl to be out there for a while. He takes that penalty, and now you lose the 4-on-4, and at the end of the 4-on-3, what ends up happening? They make it 4-2 here. That was a really, really bad penalty to take by Mattias Ekholm in the offensive zone because you got a minute 19 at 4-on-4, and then you're going to have a power play. He took it all away, and not only that, the Vegas Golden Knights right at the end of the 4-on-3 score the fourth goal, and that made the game. It just put the game a little bit further out of reach for the Edmonton Oilers and one they couldn't.
And yet they still had 20 minutes after that to come back,
20 minutes against a good defensive team on a 2-goal deficit in the playoffs. This isn't a team in the regular season that might be a little softer on defense. And Aiden Hill was terrific in that third period. He was. But
yep.
Bottom line, you can say 20 minutes, but they put themselves in the hole.
They did.
When teams, and Ryan Rishaug, you know, has said throughout this series that the Edmonton Oilers have taken so many uncharacteristically bad penalties.
Yeah.
And there's one right there, and one that's, I think it's game defining.
So you look at this team, last year's run to the Western Conference Finals was considered this massive step forward, right? This was just the beginning for this team. And you have no Colorado Avalanche ahead of you, and you see this wonderful opportunity, and you stall in the second round. How would you assess this season for the Edmonton Oilers, and do you see any changes coming in the offseason?
You know, it's disappointing for the Edmonton Oilers now, you know, with the path, but the Vegas Golden Knights are a good team. So I think it's hard to say that, you know, they should be look at it as a success.
Yeah.
But this is a good team. Ken Holland made some really good, strong moves with the team. I think Stuart Skinner had a fabulous rookie season, but the inexperience really showed up in the playoffs. He really, really struggled. And, you know, Grant Fuhr said in his rookie year he had a really good regular season, and he said come playoff time he really struggled. But then we all know what Grant Fuhr came back and did. I think Stuart Skinner is a #1 goaltender. I think that he showed how good he can be. And I think that going into next year, along with Jack Campbell, they have a really good tandem in the net. Mattias Ekholm is there. You know, we see that they have a deeper team. They have some younger players. Dylan Holloway comes to mind that you're going to push in the lineup. I mean, there's not a lot that this team has to do, that Ken Holland has to do in the offseason. It's a good team. It's a really good team. It's the best team they've had in the Draisaitl-McDavid era.
Yeah.
And I think that this team will move forward and be just as good next year. You can look at a couple of tweaks here, but the real strength of this team, what embodies it, is coming back, and it's going to be good next year.
In a sense, they've almost got to run it back because from a cap perspective, they really don't have that much choice, do they?
Yeah, but you always have a choice, Jay. Trust me, you can make trades. This is a good team.
Yeah.
They don't have to run it back because they have to. They can run it back because they're good. That's the key here.
Okay, all right. Let's talk about Jonathan Marchessault. So he goes into this one with just 2 goals in the postseason. He gets 3 goals for the natural hat trick in the second period. We keep talking about, and you just mentioned it, great team defense. Everyone's been talking about Vegas. Great team defense all year, and we talk about the depth on their actual defense. Does the forward group not get enough credit sometimes?
Yeah, I don't think they do. You know, I talk about their forward group as 1, 2, 3, 4. They just continually roll, and they roll after you, and you see different players the ability to score. And Jonathan Marchessault has really found his scoring rhythm, you know, in the last few games. Riley Smith scores, he finds some rhythm, but that is what the Vegas Golden Knights are about. You know, they make a trade for Ivan Barbashev. I mean, he's come in and given them really good, strong play. Jack Eichel back to the level play. Mark Stone returns from the back surgery. This is William Karlsson makes a really good play on that first opening goal. They have really good players up front. They might not overwhelm you with the top end like a McDavid and a Draisaitl or a McKinnon, but what they do have is a deep group of 12, 13 forwards that really are consistent in their play and make it really hard on opponents. And they made it hard on the Edmonton Oilers.
And now they're off to the Western Conference Final for the 4th time in their 6 seasons of existence, which is truly an incredible stat when you think about it. Like, what an incredible job they've done.
I can't bet against my old team in Dallas. I can't. I won't. I can't. But what a nice little fairy tale story it would be if Seattle and Vegas
Wouldn't that be
played the
great?
conference. Oh.
Yeah, the 2 expansion teams. Just how the NHL drew it up. This guy's not going anywhere because he's got some things to say to you, Leaf Nation, about your team 48 hours after your team was eliminated. So stay tuned. Craig's got some things to say about the Leafs a little later in the show.